Hello, I'm 3 of 12 for Metro Review 64, here with my next review, Super Smash Bros. Brawl for the Wii. And if we could also welcome 3 Super Sony to Metro Review 64, he is our newest reviewer. Story. Most of the story, if not all of it, comes from the Subspace Emissary mode. The story is pretty much that the evil villains from Mario, Zelda, and whatnot have captured all the princesses and other characters and turn them into trophies. You start with a few characters, and you go and you rescue the other ones, and your army quickly grows, and you defeat the bad guys, yeah, blah blah blah. The story is told through these brilliant, very well animated, and sometimes quite humorous CGI cutscenes, and I really enjoyed that part. The gameplay. Well, for starters, the game is about fighting. You have to raise your opponent's damage meter by attacking them, and then send them flying off the screen with a smash attack. New this time is the Smash Ball, which if broken, the character that broke it can unleash a super move. These final smashes range from epic to completely pathetic. And keep in mind, I was explaining that as the main fighting mode, not the Subspace Emissary mode. So I will get into that later. Actually, very soon. The Subspace Emissary is a side-scroller beat-em-up, essentially. The fighting moves that work very well with the regular brawls just don't work well for this. Like Ike, for example, he doesn't move very fast, and his jump is not that good, so that's not very good for platforming. But he's a very good fighter. Some other modes are Wi-Fi, Classic Mode, Special Brawl, Regular Brawls, Event, Team Brawls, Stadium, which has the Break the Target mode, Home Run Contest, Multi-Man Brawl, and all-new Boss mode, which is unlocked after completing Subspace Emissary for the first time. There's also All-Star mode, which is unlocked after getting every character, I think. And there's also a huge wall of challenges to complete for new stages, new trophies, stickers, etc. You can also adjust how often you want to hear certain songs on certain stages, which I very much like. That is one of my favorite features. The levels. Brawl has many stages, and I have my favorites, and everyone has their favorites. And I've also got the ones I don't like, and so does everybody else. First of all, my favorite stages are the Lilac Cruise from Star Fox, Port Town Arrow Drive from F-Zero, the Halberd from Kirby, and the Spear Pillar from Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. And I also like the Animal Crossing stage. It actually follows the day to night feature. And if you go on at after 8 o'clock on a Saturday night, Kicking Slider will serenade you while you brawl, which is nice. Now the stages I don't like are the two side-scrolling stages, or one's a side-scrolling and one actually scrolls up. These are Rumble Falls and the Mushroomy Kingdom. Mainly because I have to just focus on keeping up with the camera rather than fighting. And I also didn't like New Pork City from Earthbound, just because of the fixed camera angle and you can't really see your characters that well. I don't know, I really didn't care for that stage. All of the stages, including the scrolling ones, are very well designed. Everything is in great detail, especially the Lilac Cruise. You look behind, there's the huge space battle going on, things are blowing up. The Halberd stage, you're fighting on a platform and you can see the Halberd in the background, and then you'll eventually land on it, and the ship's cannons and stuff will begin to fire at you. Port Town Arrow Drive, you'll make several stops, and then you keep going. If you fall off, you might be hit by the cars and knocked off. And a lot of the stages transform. Some go day to night. They'll transform to a different stage. Luigi's Mansion the entire mansion will collapse one part at a time. Then it can go right back up. Spear Pillar. Depending if Dialga or Palkia is there, they can change. They can change the gravity. They can change the angle. They can really change anything. I like that stage a lot. And I also like how they included some of the melee stages and let you build your own stage. Well, let's get into my flaws with the game. Well, what's wrong with the game? A few things. Nothing too major, nothing that's really going to affect the score. The controls in Subspace Emissary, like I said before, don't work that well for that particular type of mode. They're much better for just the typical brawls and other modes. And there's a couple clones, definitely not as bad as Melee. And there's a couple clones Final Smashes. First, Fox and Falco. Not so much Wolf, but Fox and Falco are nearly identical in terms of moves and control. Wolf plays a little different. He actually, when he skids left or right, he actually goes diagonal. His gun's a little slower, and I think has less of a range. Could be wrong. And his moves are a little different, and he controls a little bit different. But all three of the Star Fox characters summon a Landmaster. Fox is understandable. Falco doesn't like using Landmasters, so you never play the game. And Wolf doesn't even have a Landmaster. Link, Toon Link, and Ike all have pretty much identical Final Smashes. The Link and Toon Link surround the enemy in a Triforce, and Ike just kind of grabs them and does the same thing, except they're kind of trapped in a fiery thing with the sword. But there aren't really any other clone things that I noticed, besides Ness and Lucas, actually. I saw that. But Nintendo tried to make them a little different. They have a few different moves, and they're all kind of fun to play as. They're a lot harder, though. There's nothing else I can really fault the game on. The Wi-Fi mode does lag a little bit, and sometimes it can take a while to find players if you're just doing a random match. And you could get stuck with a computer player, but since most of the time I spend on single player, I can't really mark it off on that either. Nothing too major the flaws. Controls, there are 4 control setups: Classic, Wiimote and Nunchuck, Wiimote held sideways, and the GameCube controller. I prefer the Wiimote held sideways myself. It's wireless, and you don't mess around with weird motion controls and stuff. And you're free to just kind of move around and stuff a little. They're typical. Well, here's the controls for the Wiimote held sideways, my favorite. You have your attack with 2, special with 1, and I have it set so you can shield with A. And I also switched the control settings so I can grab with the trigger button, which I like. And I haven't had any experience with the classic controller. I have not tried classic controller on Brawl, because I do not own a classic controller, and I don't even know if any of my friends that own a Wii have a classic controller. So, I haven't really been able to try that one out. So, in conclusion, Super Smash Bros. Brawl is a very good fighting game, and an amazing multiplayer game. You should definitely look into getting it. I have to give it a 10 out of 10. The few flaws were not significant enough to really mark off, like the Subspace Emissary. You're going to want to go through it anyways, and it's still fun. The cutscenes make it enjoyable, and the fact you can unlock every character in it, even the 3 hidden characters at the end. And that was fun. The Wi-Fi is still fun. I didn't really lag that much for me, and I can usually find some players in a amount of time that doesn't, take way too long. And the clones, there aren't that many, not as much as Melee. And so it's not really bad. So I'd say really buy it. So please comment on this review, rate it, and if you would, subscribe. And please tell your friends about us. Have them check us out. If they like, subscribe. You're not going to see as many videos if we don't get more subscribers and we don't have a fan base. We need a fan base, which is the main thing we're going for now. And look forward to my next review. It should be up very soon. Growville Off the Rails for the Nintendo Wii. A game I don't really like, and you will see why. See you guys, this is 3 of 12 from Metro Reviews 64, signing out.